We are no longer sitting around looking stupid. We got a mission. So get up and let's get going. Hey, everybody. I want to thank you for joining me, the Allergic Writer, for my third official podcast episode. And today, my guest is Shimmy Miller, another cousin. I'm still on the nepotism thing right now. I got to do what I got to do. Um, she is very successful in the area of basketball, and she's had a wonderful career as a coach, and now she is a sportscaster. So, everybody, welcome Shimmy Miller. How you doing today, cuz?
I'm doing fantastic, other than the fact that I still can't figure out Eastern Central Time Zone, and I made you an hour late. So I apologize for that, but I'm doing great.
That's quite all right. You know, that's okay. We're still human, I guess. They haven't snuck in our rooms and did anything to us, so we're still human. That's okay. So what else what's been going on? Just regular. What's going on?
Well, I have a personal announcement. Big Ten Network has already officially started just using Shimmy Miller, but I dropped the gray from my name. And those of us out there that have like family drama and you understand, but make a long story short, I was Miller. My mom married a Gray. They changed my name as an 8-year-old. You don't really have a say in this. 2 years later, he was out of the house. I'm still a Gray. Everybody else is a Miller. I feel like I'm the outcast member of the family. So I legally changed my name back to Miller. So no Gray, no more Gray. It's just Miller.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's good to hear.
Breaking news. That's breaking news heard on the Allergic Writer first.
I need some breaking news music to go in there. I'm still figuring this out. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out my sound card and just this equipment. I just kind of threw myself in it. I've been saying it and that I wanted to do a podcast, and I just, you know how sometimes we do. We just get the stuff and just start, and we learn along the way.
I'm proud of you, big cousin. Like, that's the best way to do it. I mean, you're a doer. Like, you wrote a book. You started a podcast, and you're doing it at a later stage in life when most people at our age are just comfortable, just being where we are, right?
Right.
So you are getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and it's inspiring to me.
Oh my God. It's just it's a different kind of feeling to have more stuff on your calendar, besides the writing. So I've got two people that I'm going to schedule next week for some recordings, and both of them are independent authors. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So tell me, when did you realize you wanted to play basketball?
Whew. When I was a little kid, you remember your cousin and my big brother Robert Miller, rest in peace. He bought me my first little Nerf basketball hoop. It was like adjustable, and he would play with me. He would be on his knees, and we would play basketball down in the basement on Ridgeway, in that house we lived on Ridgeway. And he would take a hanger, a wire hanger, and stretch it out into like a hoop and hang it in the doorway and roll up a ball of socks so I could work on my shooting. Oh, we were so ghetto. We were hood fabulous in Flint, Michigan. But it was my brother Robert, so probably when I was 4 or 5 years old. And basketball has taken me all over the world, literally. But I have Rob to thank for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, what college did you go to?
I went to the University of Michigan, go blue.
Yeah.
And then I played professionally overseas in Europe, in Portugal. Beautiful country. Have you ever been to Portugal, cousin?
No, I have not.
Put it on the beautiful men. I know you like some beautiful men. Might inspire you for your next book.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to put that on my list. I'm going to put Portugal on my list and take Australia off.
Take Australia. The guys aren't as nearly as good looking in Australia. So you hit up Portugal. Spain is right next door. You can hop over to Spain. I know you like some tall, dark, handsome Spanish men.
Yeah, well, I'm taking Australia off because of the creatures they have. I don't want to come in contact with a 9-foot kangaroo with an attitude.
You think the kangaroos just walking down the downtown in Sydney?
I've seen some pictures online of a kangaroo in some neighborhood, like not out in the wild. He was in the neighborhood with the houses. And
Man, I've been to Australia like 6 times. I have never ever seen a kangaroo.
You're kidding.
No, they don't. It's not like they just like stray dogs walking down the street.
Well, I mean, I think it's just with the times. Here we see the deer way more often than we used to, and it's because of their building tearing up the woods.
Hey, you did send me a video the other day of a bear in somebody's kitchen looking through the fridge. So
Right. So, instead of them refurbishing the neighborhoods that we already have, they're tearing down the woods for the animals. But that's a whole nother long podcast episode. We're not going to talk about that today. So, anyway, when you were in college, what was your best memory?
my best memory in college, man, so many. Like, I went to college, I was 17 years old, so I was young for a college freshman, and I had been really sheltered. At that point, my brothers had been out of the house for 10 years or so. So it was just me and my mom. And all I really cared about was sports, and my mom worked a lot. I didn't have like a lot of friends. I didn't do a lot. So when I went to college, I was like, I had a roommate from Chicago, and she taught me about house music and how to do the electric slide and the football team, all these football players, and we'd hang out with. And I wasn't wild. I don't want to give your listeners the impression that I got buck wild in Ann Arbor. I did not. But I just got experienced a lot, and probably my best memories really weren't even on the court or as a basketball player. It was growing up. It was figuring out who I was. I went into college as 17-year-old, just wide-eyed, had zero experience in life, and then I left as a 21-year-old young woman. I realized at that point that I was probably gay, so I was questioning that, but had gone through a period of transition with my sexuality and my identity, and I just felt more prepared for life. So I can't pinpoint just one is what I'm saying, but overall just growing up in those 4 years in Ann Arbor.
Just the experience of life.
This is what Ann Arbor did and what college did for me. It helped me to realize that there was a big old world out there. Outside of Flint, Michigan, and even outside of the state of Michigan, that I really wanted to experience. So that's what college did for me.
That's good. That's awesome. That's what I learned when I moved away to Springfield, Massachusetts. When I got there, I wasn't prepared for the culture shock, because primarily here, back then when I moved, it was, black people and white people.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a few Mexicans that went to school with us. And the only time we seen the Asians were in the store, the hair store.
Mm-hmm.
And then anytime we seen the Middle Easterners was in the corner stores.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to school with them or anything.
No, and that's not even being racist or stereotype.
No,
That's just the truth. That was
that's
just our
just how it
reality in Flint.
was.
You're absolutely right.
That's just how it was. And when I got over to Springfield, Massachusetts, and I just saw all of the different people. It was just Puerto Ricans and Cubans and Polish people and Jamaican people and all kinds of people. And even riding the bus. Now, this sounds funny, but if you rode the bus in Flint, Michigan, it was either going to be a bus full of black people with a few white people or just a mix of black and white. When I got to Springfield and started riding a bus, it was all kinds of people, all kinds of languages going on. All the Vietnamese people on the bus. I didn't. We was That was shocking because we didn't ever see no Vietnamese people or any kind of Asian people riding the bus. Because here in our mind, which it might maybe that's a stereotype, but back in the day, in our mind, all of the Asian people had money and they
Yeah.
weren't riding the bus. So when I got on the bus one day and I heard Jamaican people, Spanish people, Puerto Rican people, Polish people, Asian people talking all at the same time, I was like, oh my God, this is wow. And that might not seem like anything big to some people, like from culturally diverse cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, whatever. But to this girl coming from Flint, Michigan, it was wild.
Did you like it? Was it wild, like a good wild?
Well, Springfield was kind of behind Flint a little bit. Not saying that Flint is all that. I mean, we know anybody who knows Flint knows what Flint is about, but it was, how can I say, it was a learning experience, just like you,
Mm-hmm.
learning other, cultures and just being around different people and learning how to relate to different types of people. And it was funny because it's a very um, big Puerto Rican population there. And um, they used to think I was Puerto Rican. People did until I started talking.
I was
And I
until
was
you
like,
opened your
well,
mouth.
I thought you was black until you started talking. And one time I was at the bus stop. I forgot where I was going. But this man, it was a Puerto Rican man, and he approached me and he started speaking in Spanish. And I said, I don't speak Spanish. And he said, he was offended. He said, you don't speak Spanish. You're not Puerto Rican? I said, no. And he said, you Puerto Rican? I said, no, I'm not. I'm not from here. He said, you, you Puerto Rican? I said, no, I don't speak Spanish. I'm not Puerto Rican. I mean, this man is literally arguing me down.
It's
He
because you
said,
got
look
that
at you.
good hair, that Puerto
What
Rican hair.
yeah, what they say, good hair. I don't like that term. All hair is good hair unless it's on the floor. But he did, and he had an attitude. He said, yes. He said, you are Puerto Rican. Look at your face. Look at your hair. Look at you. And I said, no, sir, I am not Puerto Rican. I got scared. I was like, oh Lord, I think I need to go back home.
So what in Mass? On Flint, we grow up eating Coney dogs and Big Johns and We go to the fish place, the fish and chips. What is it that you eat in Springfield, Massachusetts? What's the Springfield flavor food?
Girl, nothing. No, I shouldn't say that. Pizza.
Pizza.
And you know I love Italian.
What'd you say? You love Italian men? What did you just say? Oh, Italian food.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
my
I
bad.
mean, I'll
my
take
bad.
the men too. But yeah, they have, or they had, see, because I haven't been in a while, but we would frequently go to the pizza places. And they had the pizza places. And that was the first place I had a calzone. And we had Little Caesars, back then, making pizza subs. And that's about what we were concerned, knew about. And of course, we had like Roma's and, on Beecher. And then we had, Roma's is still open, but we had Palace on Clio Road. And that was it. So we knew about lasagna, I mean,
Uh-huh.
not that we didn't know about Italian food. I don't want to make it sound like that, but we would get lasagna, pizza, breadsticks, salad. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I went to Massachusetts, the first time I had a calzone, I was like, oh my God, this is delicious. And they would be like, it was a couple of them that would be like little hole in the walls, just like maybe like the taco house here. Girl, real Italian food. And when I got back, I was like, okay, we're gonna have to go. Little Caesars and all them is just not cutting it. we gotta have some real pizza. So anytime I forgot about Luigi's on Davidson Road.
Uh-huh.
Those are like the three main real pizza places I know about. Is Luigi's, Roma, and then Palace, which is
What about Cicero's?
Cicero. Where's Cicero?
Isn't it Cicero's or is it Cicero's? Isn't it over there out by the shop by AC Sparkplug?
Oh, I don't know if that even still, because AC is gone.
Oh well. Man.
Oh, there is one that I know about now that is, since I've been an adult, being on a different side of town, is on the west side now. Is Borgiorno's is over here on Beecher Road, and they're good too. So, but yeah, Springfield was a learning experience. They didn't know about Armor Guard, which was
Okay.
funny because I had to explain to them that we had bars on our windows and doors.
Uh-huh.
And they couldn't get the fact that they were thinking they looked like jail bars. And I'm like, no, they're decorative. They're iron.
But they were kind of like jail. I mean,
Yeah, and they had no clue what I was talking about. What do you mean, Armor Guard? Jail bars? No, they're decorative iron doors. You need that in Flint because somebody will come in your house. And so one time when I went home to visit, I had taken a picture so they would know exactly what I was talking about. This lady literally thought I meant like a whole steel door with a little square cutout with the bars in, and I was like, no. So yeah, they were a little behind us, where we would talk about if a shooting happened, it may be that shooting would be talked about 3 or 4 days, a week at the most, where if they had a shooting, it would be talked about for, a month, 2 months.
The biggest culture shock for me when I left Flint and moved to Ann Arbor was recycling. I did not know what recycling was until I got to Ann Arbor.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know. We didn't recycle in Flint. You know that.
Half the
everything
people
got
still don't.
everything just got thrown in the trash. And like I remember like people like you or throw just tossed out the window. That's what stoplights were for. People rolled down their window at a stoplight and emptied their ashtray right there in the intersection. And don't act like my mom was the only one who did it. And then I got to Ann Arbor and it was like, oh, it's so clean. Like the streets is so clean, and they recycle and they don't throw trash. They don't empty their ashtrays in the middle of the intersection. And I remember I came home and I saw my mom like flick a cigarette butt out her window, and I was like, Mom, you shouldn't do that. Man, she looked at me like, if you don't take your bougie butt, think you better than everybody else back to Ann Arbor with that. Recycling.
I could see her saying that.
You can
Most
hear it
definitely.
too. Yes.
It's funny. It's funny how two cities in the same, and it's not like we're 5 hours apart. We're, literally
45 minutes, right? Yeah.
Right.
But it's like a world apart culturally and just thinking and mentality. But it did. That's what I said. Like Ann Arbor opened my eyes to wow. If there's recycling here, I wonder what they got in other states. Like it just opened my eyes to a whole new world out there that I wanted to explore.
Wow. So I did want to, when you started pro, when you were playing overseas, what did you have to get used to then?
Oh my goodness. Being alone, like, because you're a professional athlete. So a college athlete, you're part of a team, right? You hang out with your teammates. Those are your girls. And professional, everybody has their own families, their own lives. You see people at practice and that's it. So I'm an American over there by myself and just trying to, navigate, figure this out. I didn't speak the language, so that was challenging. Obviously the food was challenging. Just how they operate. Like, okay, I'll tell you a funny story. In the United States, we have very strong, like, personal boundaries, right? And I told you, I mentioned that during college, I was kind of, like figuring out who I was, like, am I gay? And, but still, this was back in the 90s. So it ain't like how it is now where everybody walking around with rainbow flags, like you were very closeted. So you're kind of figuring that out by yourself. So I kind of I made sure that like none of my teammates, like I was, I remember our very first game and after the game, we have to shower. And so I grab a towel and I walk into the locker room. They don't have individual shower stalls over there. At the time, like everything was just a big open space with like shower heads coming out of the wall, and everybody was in there showering, and like 3 of the shower heads were broke. So it was like the whole team was in there under 2 shower heads. And like none of them were gay. It was not a sexual thing. They just were, free, and they were confident in themselves. It was the total opposite of the United States, because in the United States, you walk in, you see 3 women showering in a shower head. You're like, this is some freaky stuff going on here. Like, y'all gay, and so, because that's just where our country is, right? And so I sit there and I'm like, I'm waiting. So at one point, one of them turned around, looked at me, and they were like, ooh, you're nasty. And I was like, I'm nasty. I was like, y'all the ones. And they were like, no, you don't shower after games. And I said, yes, I do. I said, I just don't shower with like 7 of y'all mugs. Like, I'm just going to wait for an empty shower head. And they were like, all right, suit yourself, And so I waited and then I showered. So it was like 3 months later, and I was having dinner with one of my teammates, and she said, she brought up the time where I didn't shower, and they were talking about me in Portuguese, and I didn't understand what they were saying. And so she said, yeah, we were kind of making fun of you because, you just didn't get in the shower. And I was like, well, we just don't do that in the United States. And they were like, why? And I was like, well, you guys do a lot of stuff we don't do. Like, y'all kiss each other when you greet, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, we don't do that. And they were like, why? And I said, because people think you're gay. And then she said, So what? Like, who cares? And I was like, well, you can't be gay in the United States. You might get beat up. And then she looked at me and she said, she said, I've always wanted to go to the United States. I've always thought life was so great in the United States. And she said, and now I just feel sorry for you. And I remember that conversation like it was yesterday. I remember the look on her face like it was yesterday, and it was like 30 years ago. And but she's right, Pat. Like, she's right. Like, we were so much more developed than they were as a country, but we were also just from a mentality, just from a human standpoint, so less developed than they were as a country.
That's amazing. It is different how just small things in different countries make such a big difference in how people go about their day. I mean, I don't know what it is about our country that we're so judgmental and so
Yeah.
you think people, I mean, and a lot of times people say if you the harder you fight against something or the harder you complain about something, that's a internal issue that you have yourself. You know, like you have people who fight against gay people.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, well, I know some psychologists, and I'm not clumping everybody together, but if they're fighting so hard against gay people, then that's what they're having a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
But you see it a lot though, and it comes out with look at some of the mega preachers in the past that have had scandals like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to talk about the downer stuff about being a Debbie Downer, but Americans have a lot to unlearn. You know, it's coming along, but I don't think it's coming along as quick as it should.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So when you were in, how long were you over there?
I was in Portugal for 1 year, and then I had a couple little mini stints in Croatia and Poland. So,
I didn't know you went to Poland.
Yeah. Now, Poland didn't care for it. Not at all. Very racist. Got stared at everywhere I went. Now, Croatia, loved it. So I'd actually signed a contract to go back to Croatia for a full season, but then I hurt my knee, and then that was the end of my professional career. So then that's when I started coaching. But Croatia, love the people, beautiful country, beautiful people. I love Croatia. Poland,
Yeah. I have never had them on my list to go.
I did go to Auschwitz, though. That was quite an experience.
Really?
That was the best thing that came out of my time in Poland. Yeah.
Oh, what? Now, how was that?
It was sobering. I didn't take any photos because I just didn't feel like it was right. So I have no photos of that trip to Auschwitz, but I didn't need to. Like, the images will always be embedded in my heart and in my mind, like to think that we could treat people. I mean, we know how it is as Black people. It's exactly like what our ancestors endured. It's the exact same thing. To treat people as non-people. It was just amazing to me. And then it's like you see the photos of the prisoners when they're first brought to the prison camp, and they take photos of them and they put the profession. So it'll be like, Pat Miller, author, Shimmy Miller, television personality, these are like doctors, like teachers, just, and then you see what they look like. They take a picture, but then before they died, they take another photo of them. and they're all unrecognizable. They treat these doctors and authors and writers and teachers and mothers like inanimate animals. We went to the showers where all the people were massacred. We saw their living where they slept. They slept on nothing more than just hay thrown on the floor. And then these people actually thought that they were just really going to like a prison camp, a work camp, until the war was over, right? So they bring their suitcases. They packed. They had suitcases. And as soon as they enter, they take away their suitcases. So there's a whole like room with like all their suitcases still stored, all their shoes, all their clothes. It's wild. If you ever make a trip through Europe, I would put it on your list. But as a black person, I think it probably resonated with me, probably a little bit different than some of my white teammates.
That's awesome.
This podcast just took a turn.
I know it. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's get off that. So anyway, let's talk about the book.
Okay. Let's talk about the book.
And then I want to ask you some questions about your new career.
Let's talk about some yellow cake, chocolate frosting.
I was so happy to get that book out. You just have no, I mean, you know. But I want to hear. I mean, I know your thoughts already, but I want you to, if you had to convince somebody to read this book, what would you say?
It's entertaining. First of all, you fall in love with the characters. It plays like a movie. It plays like I was watching a movie or a TV show. It was hard to put down. I read it very quickly in a few days. You become invested in these characters, and you wish that you were part of that. Like you read the book and you're reading about them, and you low-key wish you were friends with them. You wish you were part of that group, like when they were all meeting at her house and they ordering the food and, opening up the wine. You wish you were sitting there with them when they are at the music, at the concert. Like, you wish that you were there. Like, you want to be with these people. The characters are all very, they're not necessarily relatable because none of us has friends that beautiful and that rich and that talented, right? But they're all, so relatable is not the right word. And even, I don't even know if likable is the right word, because some of them I couldn't stand. One of them in particular I could not stand, and you already know who that is. But they were, you just want to be in their circle. But the book is very entertaining. I thought it was very well written. I'm super proud of you. It was the easiest review that I've ever had to write.
I am so grateful, so thankful.
It was an escape. It's a nice escape from whatever is going on in your world right now. It is a wonderful escape from that. That's how I would sell it.
I am so happy that people I know that would be honest with me are loving the book. I am, and of course, the information is going to be in the description. So you can, if you want a piece of cake, then you get over to Amazon and you get that book. And now the character, we're talking about the character named Jackson. Now, Jackson.
Screw that guy.
Your other cousin loves Jackson Hunt.
Ooh, Tojo?
Yeah.
Well, because there's a little bit of him that thinks he's Jackson.
He's like, Jackson Hunt is the man.
Yeah, he want to be Jackson. Jackson Hunt needs to be in serious therapy. I mean, we all need to be in therapy, but he need to be make that part of his daily routine.
Yeah, he needs therapy and medication. He's going to show up a little bit in Black Jelly Beans.
Well, I can't imagine that he's not. He's too complex of a character to only be limited to that one book. Now I will say this, though. This is the only part of the book where I struggle, and that's the it's set in the alternative universe, right?
Yes.
But you touched on it, but you didn't really weave it in. So I forgot about it. I forgot that they were in an alternative universe, but then it came back and I was like, oh yeah. And then I forgot about it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost feel like I wanted to know more about this, and maybe we will in the subsequent books, or else it didn't need to be an alternative universe after all, because it was there and then it wasn't there.
It's going to come up again. But I'm just taking it bit by bit because there is, let me see, if I go the way that if everything works out the way I want it to work out, when I really bring out the universe, that is going to be in book 4.
Okay.
So we've got Black Jelly Beans, which is book 2. And then Italian Buttercream.
Oh,
which is
I love buttercream.
Mm-hmm. And then book 4 is Untitled.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same universe, but this is going to, weave more of that alternate universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I wanted it to be in an alternate universe because I wanted to write the way that when I'm wearing my rose-colored glasses, the way I see the world, the way I want to see the world. No racism, no, people in authority take better care of. Well, I can't say this part because this will be a spoiler for book 2, but there's more, how do I want to say it? Like wealth is even though there's super rich people like Jackson, he was one of the super rich people, and then Shannon, she made a really good living, but then she, got more money as she progressed, and then Terry, he was super rich.
Terry, that's my dude.
Yeah, that's my dude. So
why we name him Terry though? Like Jackson got this cool name, Shannon got the cool name, her sisters, her girls got the cool name, and then we got Terry. Like we couldn't have given Terry a name like Jordan or like I don't know, what's some other cool names? Ashton.
You know what?
Blake.
My friend in Massachusetts who was on episode 1, she didn't like that name either. And
Terry just sounds like a maintenance man, like the janitor. Call Terry, he'll fix it.
His full name is Terrence Michael Marion.
Even worse, Terrence. Like that's a dude I went to school with. I could not stand him. He was the stinky guy. You always have the stinky boy in class. That was Terrence.
Well, you know who one of my favorite musicians was?
Terrence Trent D'Arby.
When he came out, and I still follow him. It's Terrence Trent
D'Arby.
So I use Terrence.
Terrence had one song, Wishing Well.
No, honey. Do you know this man got a dozen albums? I still follow him. He still makes music, Shimmy.
Does he still have them braids?
But he's in Italy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what? I will send you some of his other music.
Okay. Because all I can hear right now is
wishing
you were wishing well to kiss and tell.
You don't know. I get hooked on these people, and if I really like them, I will follow them.
Okay, cousin. Then here's one. Then why Terrence? Why not Trent? Trenton. That's a sexy name. That's a name that's worthy of this amazing man. But Terrence.
I can't explain it. Terry is sweet. He's not a punk. He does stand up for himself and Shannon.
And he will fix your sink if you call him.
Okay. We're going to leave Terry alone.
Okay.
Come on now.
He's my favorite, by the way.
He's my dude though. If I could write myself a husband and he would materialize, it would be Terry. It would be Terry. So anyway, yeah, guys, get the book. Come on, get the
When
book.
I was in college, for fun, I used to read as kind of a break from my schoolwork. I would read all of Elin Harris, Terry McMillan books. Like those were, Eric Jerome Dickey. Like those were
Mm-hmm.
fun, kind of, decadent books. That's what your book. Yeah, I will put Yellow Cake Chocolate Frosting right on that level. And I haven't had like that much fun. I read a lot, but the books I read aren't necessarily fun. I haven't had that much fun reading a book since I was in college, since reading those books in college.
Aw,
Yeah. Good
that makes
job,
me feel
cousin.
good. Do you remember reading? You might have been too young though. V.C. Andrews.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, The Flowers in the Attic and all of
Mm-mm.
those books. Okay, yeah, you. I think you were too young for those. Everybody was like, "You get the new V.C. Andrews?" Yeah, she. It was a trip. It was about these rich, this rich woman. Well, she had a rich daddy and she had some kids, and I really can't remember how the story actually flowed, but the main plot point was her grandparents had would lock the kids up in the attic because they didn't want to be bothered with them. And then, of course, the brother and the sister end up having kids,
Mm.
and so she just kept on writing from there. So
Mm.
yeah, they made a movie from it, and the movie was awful.
Was it called Blue Lagoon? Because didn't that brother and sister have kids too?
It was Flowers in the Attic.
I know, but didn't Blue Lagoon, didn't
Oh yeah,
Christopher
yeah, yeah.
Atkinson and
No,
or
they weren't
Atkins
brother and
and
sister, were they?
Brooke Shields and Christopher Atkins were brother and sister on that little boat, and then they got
You
on
know
that
what?
island
You
and they
sure
ended
are
up
right.
having
You
kids.
know
Yeah.
what? Because I think I watched seen that movie one or two times in life, and I was like, okay, whatever. It was like, come on, quit romanticizing this weird shit.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Even
I
Brooke would go on to say that later.
I watch too much true crime to see, that this stuff is not. It's not good for the participants' mental health, and it
Well, the good
goes on a
news,
lot.
there's no brother sister loving in your book.
No, never, 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 never. Mm-mm. I did have a short story that I wrote a long time ago, and I was thinking about, looking at it again and maybe revamping it or whatever. But I've seen several people do the same trope with the girl who dates the son and the father. So I'm not
Thank you.
I'm not interested in bringing that one up. So, but yeah, but it's just I since I watch so much true crime and I see that all the time, it's like these people they really need some help. They need some help, and I just can't see the romanticizing of that issue. So anyway, we seem to always throw some little deep something in this conversation.
Because we have multi layers to us. We are two multi-layered, intelligent women who
Yeah,
sometimes we just get on another level, and that's okay.
yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to happy stuff.
Yeah.
Um, let me see. Was there something else I wanted to ask you about college? And see, I might start being a little bit more prepared prepared for these podcasts and write all my stuff down. But sometimes, like recent, just these first new ones, I just since I know everybody, the conversation, I just feel like just gonna flow anyway. So whatever. I'm
Just
gonna write some questions
yeah,
down for when I do my authors that I
yeah.
don't know. I'm gonna do that.
We're family. We're your testers. So we help you figure out your flow. It is all good. So you be ready to go for your next
Yeah.
two guests.
Yeah. So how is the new job? I mean, it's not really new, but
Going in year two.
yeah.
Going in year two, and I love it. It's different. It's kind of like I kind of feel like you, cousin. Like you get to a point in life where you're very comfortable. I was college coach for 24 years. I could do it in my sleep. And now you're starting over, and I don't want to say I started over from the bottom, but I'm starting over in this new endeavor where I'm the rookie, and I'm an old rookie, an older rookie, and change. But you know what? Change is scary, but it's also the opportunity for something better to occur, and I'm embracing it. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I make a lot of mistakes, but that's okay.
That's okay. Change is good.
Change is good.
But I know when I do see your clips, you look so comfortable. And of course your speak is just excellent and everything. I'm like, look at her. She looks like a veteran. She needs to be on Fox, NFL Sunday.
Meanwhile, like I got sweat rolling down my back. I'm nervous. My underneath the desk, my knees are shaking. But that's how I know. That's how when we're scared like that, when we're sweating and trembling, that's how we know we're doing something good, right?
Mm-hmm.
We feel alive. So I feel more alive these last couple years than I have probably the last decade of my prior career.
And that's awesome. That is awesome. And I'm proud of you. Everybody in the family is proud of you. And we have some talented people in our family.
We do.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful. I love our family, man. I love being a Miller. Like we are so talented and so connected, and we are there for each other, And we don't judge because we are messy, but we don't judge. Like we just accept. We might talk about you,
Yep.
but but there's a difference between talking about you and judging you. We gonna talk about you, but we're not gonna judge you. I love being a Miller. That's why I had to get rid of this gray and just get back to being Shimmy Miller. No gray.
That's awesome.
The only thing gray about me is this hair that I have to get colored. Got to get it colored every couple months.
You see what I did? It's gone.
Oh.
I know people can't see us, but
Yeah.
cut them off.
You cut it off. You cut off your braids.
Mm-hmm,
Your dreads.
Yeah.
Oh. We starting over, or we just what we doing?
I'm not locking anymore.
Okay.
Because I can be girly sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to wear my hair. I like braids. I like wigs. I like whatever.
And the locks were limiting you to
They
you
were
could only do the locks.
And
Okay.
on top of being limiting, it seemed like I had to get them redone too much, and I just, I said I can't do this anymore.
Well, the thing about you is you have that face where you could rock anything. You have a perfect head size. You could go short. You could go long. I have a big head. For those viewers or listeners can't see. Thank goodness you're listeners and not viewers, because you would be like, "Dang, she got a big head. I got a big head." And
I got a big head,
so I can't do everything. So you have a perfectly shaped. You have an asymmetrical head. So I'm excited to see this new evolution, this new look being unveiled.
Oh yeah, I might have a fro one day. I might have a wig on the next day.
Get it right, because your book tour is coming up. It's coming up, cousin. I'm putting all that good energy out there.
I received that. I received that. I received that. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to, well, I already got your socials. I'm going to put all your socials in the description so y'all can go follow my girl. And if you want to see some good clips of a wonderful podcast, we didn't even say what you podcast. I mean, I guess they would assume, what you podcast, what you broadcast. We didn't
Women's
even really
basketball.
say it.
Yeah, WNBA, Chicago Sky, and the Big Ten. I work for the Big Ten Network, so all Big Ten women's basketball. And then on my own personal socials, I'll just talk about anything basketball related. But that's where y'all can find me. It's Big Ten Network or Chicago Sky. They're analysts for the WNBA.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited. This is like a new. We have, or I should. I can only speak for myself, but you already have. But I have jumped the timeline to the right timeline, because who would have thought, I don't know, even 15 years ago, that this would be happening. An official published author talking to an official WNBA sportscaster on a podcast.
And we're cousins, man. We're from the same place. Your beautiful mom made my prom dress from scratch.
Yep.
Like, we're cousins.
Remember.
I'm
She
proud
made
of
a
us.
lot of prom dresses.
Made it from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
We're from the same place, and look at us.
Yep.
I'm proud of us, but I'm really proud of you.
I am.
My cousin
super
is a
proud.
published author, and I'm not gonna lie either. Like, I was like, oh man, I hope, because I can't lie. I'm not a very good liar. And I was like, what if this book is trash? Like, what am I gonna say? Man, I couldn't put that book down. I couldn't put that book down. I was hyping it up on my social media, and I couldn't put it down. So I'm proud of you. Keep moving forward. Let's get the hair right. Get ready for our book tour.
Yep.
And please don't name no other cute guys. Terrence or Terry or Gerald or Harry. Need some good sexy names.
Well, okay, I can tell you the name of the main character's love interest in Black Jelly Beans. His name is Ian.
Ian?
Yes.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Down with that.
And the love interest one of the love interests in book 3, which is Italian Butter 3, his name is Nicholas.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Call him Nick.
A little trick with Nick.
And then she has another love interest named Justin. How's that? Well, he's younger than her.
Okay. Look, Justin is better than Terry, so you messed my man up. We don't. Can we start calling Terry by his middle name? Can we just start calling Terry Michael?
You're not gonna let me rest. With his name, I can't even explain it. All I can say is that Terry, he's sweet. He's a sweetheart, and Terry sounds like a sweetheart. Does that help? You should look at it.
Yeah, I know. Remember, I told you I can't lie. I'm not a very good liar, so I'm just not saying anything.
I love you, Gus.
Thank you for having me on. It's an honor.
Oh, it's an honor that you are here. I am so happy. Okay, before we get too emotional and too sentimental, I'm going to cut it off right there. And like I said, I'll put all the information below. share, and anybody who stopped to listen. I appreciate you and thank you so much. And I will talk to you next time. Have a good day. Bye. Okay.